to focus.
I'm going to put my glasses on and off because I need them.
Okay, awesome, awesome.
In my real life, I do wear glasses a lot.
You and me both when I can find them.
No, no, I keep them with me. Trust me.
Yes, yes, yes.
I used to laugh at the older people that I thought that had the chain around the glasses. And I get it. I get it now.
Right. I need a chain and a cowbell.
Absolutely. I get it all now. I get it now. That's what I'm saying.
Indeed, indeed. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you to today's live stream. We have a very, very special guest today. We're going to be talking to Verdine White, the co-founder of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire. How could I get that wrong, right? Just want to give you a little background, and then we will go into, a conversation, Verdine and I, and then all of you who are out there in the audience, you will have your chance to, ask your questions. You can post your questions and comments now. And over time, we can highlight those comments and questions. So, you can start that right now. All right. So, in case you didn't know, Earth, Wind, and Fire is one of the most influential bands of all time. They transcend R&B, shaping pop culture around the world. With global sales of over 90 million records, the band has earned more than 50 gold and platinum albums, 7 Grammys, including a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, and 4 American Music Awards. The group has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Vocal Group Hall of Fame, the NAACP Image Award Hall of Fame, and Hollywood's Rockwalk. This, in addition to receiving a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame. The band has also received an ASCAP Rhythm and Soul Heritage Award, BET Lifetime Achievement Award, and the Soul Train Legend Award, as well as an NARAS Signature Governor's Award and the Congressional Horizon Award. Earth, Wind, and Fire members were celebrated during the Kennedy Center Honors in 2019, along with Sally Field, Linda Ronstadt, Sesame Street, and Michael Tilson Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Verdine White, Earth, Wind, and Fire's bassist and co-founder, was presented with Bass Player Magazine's Lifetime Achievement Award and an honorary doctorate degree from the American Conservatory of Music. He's ranked number 19 on Rolling Stone Australia magazine's list of the top 50, the 50 greatest bassists of all time. Verdine co-authored a book with Lewis Satterfield, Playing the Bass Guitar, A Beginner's Guide to the Electric Bass. He also wrote Rhythm of the Earth, Advanced Bass Techniques, and Rhythms of the Earth. In spite of all his achievements, Verdine and his wife, Shelley Clark White, continue to give back to the industry and to the community through their advocacy, time, and talent. Mayor John Hamilton of Bloomington, Indiana, proclaimed February 1st, 2021 as Shelley and Verdine White Day in honor of Black History Month, with a focus on appreciating the resilience of Black people and how they've used creative and artistic expression historically to overcome struggles. The couple co-founded the Verdine White Performing Arts Center, which encourages students to reach their fullest potential as artists and people, equipped with the well-rounded performing arts education and the confidence to take on whatever path they choose within the arts. Verdine was inducted into the Boys and Girls Club Alumni Hall of Fame, and he serves as an ambassador, encouraging youth to get involved in the civic affairs of their communities. He was awarded the Walt Disney Motive Award for excellence for his work with students. And right now, I just want you to join us for a very lively conversation. You're going to hear a different side. I'm sure most of you have been following his career all of your lives, but we're going to hear a different side today. We're going to be talking about his work in the arts, helping other people and paying it forward. Alrighty. So I want to thank you so much for being a guest today, Verdine.
Thank you. That took all the time up, you know, but that was a lot. I'm listening. I said, "Oh my God."
Well, I tried to get all of your life down.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's right.
You just,
I want to mention on the Kennedy Center honors, of course,
okay.
there with my colleagues and co-founders Philip Bailey and Ralph Johnson at the Kennedy Center honors, and we were there with all our wives. So that was a big moment for us. And they talked a lot about Maurice and all the work that he did, because we can't forget him. You know what I mean? You know, we're just pretty much the recipients, and we're the stewards of the band. So it was his idea. He created it. You know, he conceived it. He wrote it, produced it, performed it. You know, and an idea came out of Chicago too, back in the '60s for him.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to claim the West Side, right?
Yeah. We went West Side, South Side, and of course, newer generation. This is new to the newbies. This is new to them. All this information coming from Chicago and things like that. You know, because it's a generational shift. You know, with the internet and things like that. But for those that know us, who started with us, they know everything that you already said.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Yeah, West Side folks claim you and South Side, and that's just wonderful. I mean, you guys do a wonderful job of bringing everybody together. All right. And speaking of the West Side, I just indicated that you grew up in Henry Horner, and you played with the Hornets with the legendary Major Adams, and those of us on the West Side.
He was a cool guy. The Boys Club was a great place for talent shows, basketball, and I might add too that my late father was a doctor at Rush Presbyterian in Chicago.
Awesome.
And my mother was a school teacher on the West Side at Burney Elementary, where we went to school. And so it was a great way to start in Chicago. You know, and of course later on we moved to South Shore, but I stayed over at Crane High because of the music program. You know.
Okay. That's great. And I just found out that my friend Howard Latham and you, I don't know if you grew up together, but
I know Howard since I was a kid, you know, and I know Howard for a long time, you know.
Yeah.
And when I come to Chicago, Howard has come to a few of the recent concerts when we were at the Chicago Theater and things like that, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Howard, if you're listening, if you're watching, please let us know. We'd love to hear some of your comments and share them online. And, one of the things Howard was mentioning was that he learned a lot of discipline, working with Major Adams. And I just wanted to get a sense for what some of your takeaways were from that time.
Well, yeah, it was what Howard said, discipline. And younger people, you have to discipline and give them structure, but it wasn't like crazy bad discipline. It was fun, kids, you want to have fun, and you just want to have fun playing music. And if as long as there's structure, you'll do the right thing. Yeah.
Yes. So what was his personality like?
Upbeat, very upbeat, trumpet player, things like that, a great leader, particularly when you're talking about African Americans, these big urban cities are at best sometimes difficult, sometimes, as we see, but there's a lot of good things that have come out of it too, a lot of good things,
Okay, great. Yeah, and you were mentioning too, when you were at Crane, it was a different world from what we're experiencing now, with our public schools. You talked about how vibrant it was, with band, student council, and all of that good stuff. And you also mentioned that you wanted to give the same types of experiences to students, that you're working with your performing arts center.
Yeah, so, we're over at 4700 Avalon in Los Angeles, and it was actually a project that Shelley started, my wife Shelley started, and the building that we had, and she gutted it out and made a performing arts center, and it's a chapel, and we're donating some instruments, and Pastor Walter Davis has sermons every Sunday there, and before the pandemic, they were taking trips, taking the kids, on trips, and of course, want check our Facebook page out, Verdine White Performing Arts Center, give you all the latest social media updates on what we're doing, things like that, and I put a studio upstairs for the kids because they wanted to work on beats rather than listening to sermons. You know what I mean? But it's great. We've been up now about 15 years. We're on our third young people.
That's amazing. So it sounds to me like you are giving them just a full, I guess, for lack of a better word, immersion. Because I heard, in your talk, you're looking at the spiritual, and also giving them an outlet and just letting them be themselves.
Let them be themselves. Give them a little spiritual stuff without preaching to them. Let them have some fun, because as I said before, kids, you know what I mean, they want to have a good time. They're not worried like we do. Well, you got to do this, you have to do that. You know what I mean? They just want to have fun. You know what I mean? And so I'm sort of emulating some of the things that I've learned. Things like that.
Okay, that's great. So I know with the pandemic, you may or may not be doing, I guess, distance programming, but I'm wondering if that presents an opportunity for kids who are not in your local area to participate. Have you thought about reaching out to folks?
Well, Walt's already doing it. He was
we
were already up online, and we had a concert in the parking lot out there, because they're parking for 63 cars. So there was a jam session out in the back. A car wash where you get your car washed for free. And today is Thursday, so every Thursday, what we do before the pandemic, every Thursday morning, the parents could come get free food for their kids, orange juice, coffee, great cereals and things like that, so the kids could have something on their stomachs before they go to school. But now we're doing pickups every Thursday, not only for the kids, but for the parents. Now the parents are in line. So we're doing a lot of good stuff. And Walt has done a great job, him and his wife, Jeannie. And Walt and I kick around a lot of ideas all the time about what we should do. And if I think of something, I'll text him or say, hey, this might be a good idea to do.
Great.
Yeah.
So if we're not in your area and we wanted to at least participate virtually, how do we do that?
As I said before, Verdine White Performing Arts Center on Facebook. Just reach out, and they'll let you know what we're doing and how to do it.
Okay. All right. Can you tell us about the 3 books that you wrote?
Oh God, I wrote those a while ago. The first book I wrote with the late Louis Satterfield, who was my bass guitar teacher. And he was great. I studied with him from the time I was like 15 years old. All the way before Maurice brought me to California. And it was great. And great bass player, played on a lot of those records with Maurice, and he was also our trombone player with the Phoenix Horns in Earth, Wind and Fire. So just wonderful, wonderful person, funny. I miss him every day.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those people who's left the hole in the heart of many people around the world. You guys have really, really, the whole band has impacted people. And my question to you, you were very active at Crane High School. You still keep in contact with the alums. And
go ahead.
Yeah, so there was a time when Chicago Public Schools wanted to actually close the schools. And, you and Chaz Ebert and some of the other alums and parents got together.
Right.
And fought for the school.
Chaz, for those that don't know Chaz, of course, she was married to the late Roger Ebert, the Sun-Times film critic. And he did all the reviews on all the movies and things like that. And at this award season and the Oscar season, things like that, he would have been prime time, talking about all the great movies, from Ma Rainey to the Billie Holiday Story, starring Andra Day and things like that. And she was married to him, but we went to school together, Chaz and I. We were in drama class. And of course, we stayed in touch and all these years. And last year, before the pandemic started, 2019, we did I was part of the commencement. We did the commencement address together, actually.
Wow.
I mean, for the class of '69 in 2019. So it was great.
Wow.
Great.
Excellent.
And I stayed in Chicago for 2 weeks on a vacation.
Great.
Yeah. I hadn't done it in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when they tried to close the school, what impressed me was that you were out there on the front line. So what advice would you give to parents who are fighting every day just to keep schools open, keep programs?
The advice is you got to fight every day.
Wow.
That's the advice.
Right.
You got to fight every day. I'm talking about, you got to keep fighting a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and when I saw this, you know what I mean? We immediately got right on it. Chaz, myself, a lot of the alumni, and of course, the school's open and everything's fine. You got to be proactive. Because don't forget now, a lot of sometimes the media in this particular generation era, has focused on the negative. But there was a lot of good things came out of those cities. Music and sports and things like that. Isaiah Thomas is a good friend of mine, and he's from Chicago.
Right.
Yeah, Isaiah. We always talk about Chicago and all that kind of stuff. Look what he did. Ended up being a wonderful professional, great basketball player as well as a great businessman. So a lot of good things come out of these schools, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then too, I was looking at some of the pictures your wife sent me, and she shared a picture of you. You're an alumnus, I guess. Yeah, of Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
So share what that was like, I guess, going through the Boys and Girls Club as a youth, and now you're an ambassador.
Well, that was sort of an that was sort of an extension of what was going on in the neighborhood, with Major Adams and as I said earlier, the Boys Club was just a place to hang. We were doing it. I had no idea, where my life was going to go and what, would develop. But the Boys Club was just great because we knew we were going to go there every afternoon at 3:30, and they had talent shows and they had, art programs and it was Boys Club, but girls came around too. So, it was, they called it the Boys Club, but everybody was there, Yeah, everybody was there, especially in Chicago,
Right.
Yeah.
And now you're an ambassador.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not a heavy thing, I mean, obviously they made me an honorary ambassador, it's a great honor, to be picked to be one, but there are other people. I think Michael Jordan is an ambassador, things like that. So it's kind of cool. Good company to be in.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I understand too that another cause you have is making sure that folks are not pirating folks on the internet. What are some of the things?
What do you mean, like taking music for free?
Yeah, taking music.
Oh yeah, we've been dealing with that for a long time, but we talked about it. That was actually going on a few years ago, but now that particular there's been a lot of progress. You know what I mean, and people are not pirating songs anymore. You know what I mean? The artists are much more aware. In the beginning, nobody really knew because when the internet came, it was just everywhere. So now that everybody's sort of got a handle on what the internet is and how to monetize songs, things like that. It's not a thing of the past, but it's definitely under control.
Right. Okay. So I know we already talked a little bit about it in terms of your performing arts center. You mentioned that your wife Shelley started it. What were some of the things that made you guys come together and start it?
Well, it was her idea because the building was empty and it was an older building, and she had an idea about really fixing the building up, gutting it out, getting rid of all that old furniture that was in there and things like that. And then Walt, who's a businessman, but he also is a pastor. So he came along and helped us and things like that, and his wife Jeannie, and we went over right before the pandemic. The building looks fantastic and things like that, and it looks great, and we have a big banquet room for lunch and things like that. And when we go to sermon, and the musicians, there are musicians there who play there. Who a lot of them are just actually meeting. This is the second generation of musicians, and So it's really great,
Mhm.
things like that.
Yeah. Can you share some of your success stories? Some of the kids who came out?
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
There's one kid that went to Berkeley out of the Randall, went
Mhm.
to Berkeley, and he
Great.
was a teenager. He's playing with a lot of big people now. Really
Mhm.
big people. He's a pro now,
Yeah.
and he went to Berkeley. We sent him to Berkeley for the summer, and then I just happened to be in Boston, and he came to my show in Boston, and turned out really good, really really good. Randall's a good kid, and when I went to Boston, I bought him some nice clothes. You know what I mean? I said, "You got to look good. You got to look good." And, uh,
I know that's right.
but he's turned out to be a really wonderful musician,
Mhm.
really wonderful musician, saxophone player, saxophone.
Okay. Great. And, one of the ways that you're paying it forward, other than your Performing Arts Center, you seem to be very, very family oriented. I look at all the pictures and videos of you and your wife and your granddaughter.
Oh yeah, yeah, Nyla. Her stage name is Raina, and she won an HMMA award,
Oh,
which
woo-hoo.
came yesterday, and she came by to pick it up last night. And I said, "This is a good. It's not a Grammy, but you got to start somewhere." And so she's a good kid, really good kid.
Yeah, indeed. So, what are some of the things you do to keep the legacy alive? I know, you have strong family ties and you're always paying homage to Maurice. You
Hmm.
know, what
Well,
is some?
it does it by itself. Actually, there's not much for me to do.
Mhm,
The records are being played everywhere. The songs are in commercials, and
mhm,
uh, we're all on the internet. You know, we make music. We did the Christmas album with Megan Trainor, which turned out really fantastic. So there's not much. It just does it by itself. It just does it by itself.
that's great. And what I love too is you're working with the next generation
Yeah.
of not only leaders but musicians.
Hmm.
What advice would you give to those of us who want to help and sometimes we just get in the way?
Well, you just have to do it. You know what I mean? You just have to really do it. And just really do it. You know what I mean? You have to really
Mhm,
uh, get involved and things like that. And I've had a chance to work with some really, really great people. Andra Day, I worked with Andra Day on a song.
great.
Of course, she's nominated for an Oscar.
Yes.
And over the weekend, I worked with another great kid named Jeremy Pope, who was in uh, uh, on the Netflix show Hollywood.
Mhm.
He also was in One Night in Miami. You know,
Mm.
And then there's a great show called Pose on television, which is about transgenders.
Mhm.
Billy Porter and the other star, the main
Mhm.
star of the show is MJ Rodriguez, uh,
Mhm.
a great singer, and she's an actress, and I've been working with her. So yeah, it's cool. It's really cool,
Mhm.
and they're great people too. Just really fun people.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give for people? I guess in terms of do's and don'ts, in working with young people. For example, I've heard people who work with youth say, there's a lot of ageism around, and people, in my generation tend to look at younger people as, oh, you should do this, you should do that, and that can be problematic. But you seem to be able to bridge these generational gaps. You just flow, from one generation to the other. It doesn't seem to be a problem for you.
No, you just the key is the flow. That's you pick. The key is the flow. I think you. First of all, you have to respect the generation. You have to understand that they have ideas, and they know what they're doing. And don't forget now. I'm learning too. I'm learning too. I'm learning things too. You know what I mean? So
Right,
it's
right.
not a one-way street. It's not a
Okay.
one-way street. It's a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
know. You know.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
think that's how you work with there is no distinction. Just get in there and love them, and they already love you. So you might as well get in
Right.
there and hang out with them, and don't make it a big deal. You know?
Okay. We got three comments. Let me see what they are.
They got to be good. They better say something.
Oh, I think you're gonna like this one.
Good.
You see, Howard, Radine, I'm watching you.
Hey, what's happening, man? How are you, buddy?
Okay, and this is what he says. Great interview, and you're looking good.
I was going to mention that. I was going to ask him how I was looking, Howard. Okay, man. It's been a while, player.
Well, thank you so much, Howard. I'm so glad that you took the time to listen. And then we got another comment. This is from, well, not really a comment, but I think we get the idea that Jim Allen loves us, right? And Jim is a business person on the West Side as well as a minister.
Mm-hmm.
And we're hearing from Glenn Stubbs. How awesome. Congratulations to you both. Way to go, Valerie F. Leonard. I just have to say thank you to Verdine. I mean, he's been awesome to work with. And I thank him so much for his time. All righty. If you guys have any questions, any comments, please feel free to post. We're waiting. All righty. Excuse me. All righty. We are just about done with our questions. And again, I want to get a sense for how we can help you. You know, you have done so much. You've poured out to other people around the world. How can the community help you help these young people?
Well, as I said before, you just have to jump in. You know, these things don't happen by themselves. I think, you know, and in the communities, you have to be proactive. Mm-hmm. You know, if you see something that you can't do everything, first of all, do what you can do. I think that's always the thing. You got to do what you can do. But I think, you know, one thing leads to another, to another, to another. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to start where you are and start with what you know. That's that's my advice.
Okay. And if people wanted to donate to the Performing Arts Center, is there a place they can send donations?
As I said before, get on the Performing Arts Center Facebook, Verdine White Facebook, and I'll let you know everything and all the different programs that we are doing and things like that. And it's been a building process, but we are very happy with what we are accomplishing and things like that. And actually, we're implementing a program now where we are going to start giving free COVID tests. You know,
great.
For our community. You know. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
You know, just take the good ideas and you come up with a plan. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're hearing from Howard again. He's looking forward to seeing you in June at the Major Adams Center and United Center. So is there a concert in the works?
Well, that was first for me. Howard, you know something I don't know. You know, but I think once we're past this pandemic, we'll be out there, of course, like everybody else. You know.
All right, and this is from Rochelle Jackson, lifelong fan of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Love you, Verdine White. May God continue to bless you and your work with your community and beyond. Hey, Valerie. Love you too, Rochelle. Thanks.
Thank you.
And this is from Jim D. Allen. Earth, Wind, and Fire is timeless. What a legendary group of soulful griots. We are truly blessed to witness such greatness. We are. We definitely are. Thank you so much. And my last question to you is, what's the secret to your success? Most people don't do what you do for as long as you've been doing it and enjoy it. So,
well, first of all, you have to put God first, because none of this would happen without God, because none of us know. We're just doing what we do. And I think if any of the secret is that, we've always put in the work. We've always put in the work, and we've always stayed at it, and we've always, been diligent and vigilant about the work. And as I said before earlier, when we spoke, we honor Maurice, because this, my brother Maurice, this would never ever happen if it hadn't been for his vision.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Hmm.
All right, so I don't have any questions. I'm just wondering if there are any more questions from our live audience. You've been wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. If you have any questions, please post them before we close. I just want to say thank you again, Verdine. It's been awesome. I
Thank you,
really
Valerie. Good to see you, because the last time we did the phone, we were trying to do this a few weeks ago, right? The audience, they don't know we're trying to do this, so we were we're making up for the lost time, right? We
yes,
were actually supposed to do this in Black History Month, remember?
yeah, yes.
Remember. So we're kind of late. We're kind of late.
We're kind of late.
Yeah, but Black History Month is every month, every day,
Yes,
so we're always on time.
indeed. And I thank you too. You know, most people would not have the patience that you displayed. You know, most people would have just written us off. And I say thank you for not writing us off.
No, 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 no way.
All righty. And I can't let go without saying thanks to Shelley.
I was going to say that. I was going to say you got to say a shout out to her, because she's the one responsible. You know what I mean? She stayed
Yes,
on there, and she kept it going when there was a cancellation or something. You
yes,
know what I mean? She
yes,
kept it going, and she reminded me, "Don't forget, we've got to do Valerie on Thursday."
yes,
Well,
yes. And you know, what I really, really love is, you know, you guys didn't know me from Adam, right? You just responded to an almost desperate email, and
mm-hmm.
you were willing to share. And you know, you don't know how much that means to me. I
Well, you
really.
got to thank her. She reminded me every day. There are notes on the fridge. There are notes on my desk. You know what I mean? With your name on it. Don't forget Valerie on Thursday.
I
And
love
how?
you, Shelley. And for those of you who may not know, Shelley is the co-founder of Honeycomb.
Absolutely. Yes, she was with the Honeycomb, and she has a show every Thursday called That's My Story.
Hmm.
Done some great people. And her show is today, you
Okay.
know. And in the house here, we have Studio A, B. I'm in Studio A. She's in Studio B. We got Studio C. And outdoors, we got a big backyard so we can have concerts out there. So, you know. So, but she's in charge. She's in charge.
Yes, yes, and she's going to be on the show. We're working that out, so
Oh,
you guys
cool.
stay tuned.
Cool. You're going to love that. She's great.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we've got some more comments before you go. Um, this is Andrew Antonio Allen. I'm a Chicago stepper, stepping to EWF music since the beginning of a kind of innovator in the dance now. And you know, Andrew has, well, you still do that class. You know, he used to do these step class with all the
Okay.
prints
Oh,
and all.
the stepping classes that they do from Chicago?
Yep,
Yeah.
he was one of them. Yes,
Hmm.
and he says, I've adopted the dance that they have claimed for their own. What can we do to bridge the gap of generations? I guess that's his question. What can we do to bridge that gap?
Well, I think bridging the gap is just introducing each other to what's going on. You know, the
Hmm.
gap comes when people don't communicate. You know,
Hmm.
I don't think it's anything a such thing as a gap.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, we're learning from each other. You know,
Right.
like when you first got your first cell phone, didn't you ask a younger person, "How do I work this?"
Yeah,
Right?
I still do that now.
That's what you do. When you don't know something, you just ask, and before you know it, you're having a great
Yeah.
conversation. You know what I
Uh,
mean? You know, but that's how it starts. It's how it starts. And then
yeah.
they ask you questions too. Like you got a record player, they don't know what that is. So you say, "Oh, this is how we used to play records."
That-
So the gap comes when there's no communication.
right, right. And you don't, and that don't even have to be an age difference.
Oh no, it could be technological, it could be information, it could be music, it could be sports. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
know, things like that. You know,
yeah.
but that's what makes the gap. But I think when you communicate, you don't even know there's a gap.
All right. And your music has really brought people together from all over the world. That,
Hmm.
that is a blessing.
Well, that was the intention that Maurice always had, and when you pull up the Kennedy Center honors, you know, all of the tributes that were there for him from David Foster and LL Cool J
Hmm.
and David Copperfield when they talk about Maurice. So, you know, I encourage people to pull up YouTube and take a look at what the world thought about him.
Mm, yes, indeed.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then we got another fan, Roberta Coleman. Roberta is a member of the nonprofit Utopia community, and
Mhm.
she runs Kabad House in the south suburbs of Chicago.
Hey, Roberta, what's happening? How are you?
And then we've got Howard again. Major
Hey, Howard.
Adams. Major Adams was a trailblazer and positive image to so many of us.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Mr. White, so glad to see you and to hear you acknowledge God. How do you advise other young musicians to stay humble? And Willie C., I believe that's Willie Cole. And she and I work together with the Staines Family Foundation, and she's also doing some work with me with nonprofit Utopia.
Oh, cool, cool.
So, yeah, she was just saying, how do you advise other young musicians to stay humble?
That's all. You just have to. You just do it. Just be a nice person. Just be a nice person.
Oh, that's easier said than done. I've seen people with much less talent who are much more pompous. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, our mom and dad were wonderful people, and they were loving. So I think it just translated to how we are as people. If you met my sisters and other family members, they're the same way. My son, our granddaughter, they're all the same way. They act the same way.
oh, that's a blessing. And Stephanie Banks, congratulations. And then Willie C. So true. Gaps come when we don't communicate. Love it. Antonio is loving what he's hearing. Marcus Embry grew up listening to EWF. Jim Allen, was the song September really written by a white woman?
Not by herself, no, but it's not this. We're not going to make that racial, so that's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
The white woman that you're talking about was a wonderful writer named Allie Willis, the late Allie Willis,
Mm-hmm.
and she wrote it with Al McKay as well
Mm-hmm.
as my late brother Maurice, and she
Mm-hmm.
also wrote songs for the Pointer Sisters, and she worked with Brenda Russell. So we're not going to make this racial. It's about
Mm-hmm.
music.
Mm-hmm. And that's interesting too. I don't know how you guys did it. I mean, is there an I know there's an art to writing songs, but how do you just I mean, is it developed or is that an innate talent?
Well, it's an innate talent, but it's just not
Mm-hmm.
only us. It's a lot of great songwriters,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the beauty about music. It cuts through race, it
Yeah.
cuts a lot of stuff. Because when you're learning an instrument, you don't care uh, where you learn it from.
Mm-hmm.
Music is a fraternity. That's why when you come to concerts, it's all types of people. You know what I mean? That come to concerts. So when we get comments, was it by a white woman? I think that's a little. It's
Mm-hmm.
cutting a little bit below the belt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's about great music. I'm talking about.
Right. And I look at the folks, who go through your performing arts center. It
Yeah,
looks like a rainbow coalition, for lack of a better word, but you serve everybody.
yeah. You know, So my message to the person who asked that question, it's about people, not
Mm-hmm.
about color.
Mm-hmm.
And he can actually respond back if he wants to. He doesn't have to agree with me, but the
Okay.
song's already been written and it's already a hit with
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah, I think, Jim, if you're out there, I think it'll be an interesting dialogue if you want to share. Yeah, yeah. Too bad we don't have a phone.
That's
That
all. Don't matter. Don't matter. Yeah.
yeah. Yep, yep, yep. So I think that's all the comments, and I really, really appreciate your time. I really appreciate Shelley. I feel like I've been knowing her all my life. She just welcomed me from day one.
Well, I know you too because your name has come up around our home about 100 times. So, but this is great, Valerie. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for having me.
I shall. You know what? I can also make sure that you get a link to the video, for your purposes as
All right,
well.
you'll reach out to Shelly. She always is great at those links and things like that. And
Uh,
check out her show. That's My Story every Thursday.
okay.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. She sent me a couple episodes.
Right.
So I got my homework and I told her I was definitely gonna
Yeah, they're
start.
going on the. Actually, she's prepping for the show right now. So, You know what I mean? So they're on today. Yeah.
Okay. All righty. So this concludes our episode. I want to say thank you so much to everybody for joining us. Thank you so much for your questions and your comments. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is Jim. He says, I totally agree. And this is about the question. He was the one who asked a question about the white woman. He says, I totally agree. I was just asking.
Oh, yeah. No, it's cool, man. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, and sometimes in writing, we can't really convey,
Right.
what we're thinking.
What's about the song? As I said before, about the song.
Yeah, Jim is good people. All righty.
All right. Okay.
So you're out.
I'm out. I'm gonna get out of here. Have a great day. How's the weather there? Is it nice and warm there, like here?
You always rub that in on me.
I always. I did it the last time.
Yes, you did.
Last time back.
You're mean.
I wasn't gonna let you get out of here without me cracking on you.
It's Chicago. It's March.
I'm gonna let you get out of here without cracking on you.
That's terrible.
All right, Howard. Okay, thanks for listening. Okay.
All righty.
All right.
Take care. All right. Bye-bye.